Hello, and welcome to the 18th episode of LGBTQIA+, Heroes, Icons, Legends, and Events. This series of programs covers a wide variety of topics, such as politician and activist Harvey Milk, mathematician and cryptanalyst Alan Turing, and entertainers Josephine Baker and Freddie Mercury. In a previous episode, we met some of the LGBTQ legends of women's sports. Historically, LGBTQ women in professional sports have had an easier time coming out publicly because they are already challenging gender expectations and societal norms. Men in sports are seen as embodying the cultural expectations for masculinity, and so it is more difficult for LGBTQ male athletes to publicly announce their sexual orientation. It's unusual for male professional athletes to come out while they are still playing sports, and most men come out after their sports careers have ended. But there are several men in sports who have bravely risked their sports careers to tell the truth about their sexuality. Let's meet some of the LGBTQ trailblazers in men's sports. American physician and athlete Tom Waddell was born Thomas Flubacher on November 1, 1937. His parents separated when he was in his teens, and he went to live with his adoptive parents at the age of 15. Jean and Hazel Waddell were former acrobats, and they encouraged him to study gymnastics. Tom excelled in athletics in high school. He was awarded a track scholarship and attended Springfield College in Massachusetts, where he studied pre-medicine. He attended the New Jersey College of Medicine and began his medical internship at Bethel Hospital in Brooklyn, New York in 1965. Tom was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1966. He protested when he realized that he would be sent to Vietnam as a medical officer, and he assumed that he would be court-martialed. Instead, he was unexpectedly sent to train for the 1968 Olympics as a decathlete. He competed in the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City and placed 6th out of 33 competitors. He broke 5 of his personal records. After his discharge from the Army, Tom established his medical practice in 1974 in the Castro neighborhood in San Francisco, California. Tom was the founder of the Gay Olympics, which were later renamed the Gay Games. He and his partner Charles Deaton appeared on the cover of People magazine in 1976, becoming the first gay couple to appear on the cover of a major national periodical. In the 1980s, Tom worked at the City Clinic in San Francisco's Civic Center neighborhood. In 1981, while planning the Gay Games, Tom met lesbian athlete Sarah Lewinstein. They decided to have a child together. Their daughter Jessica was born in 1983, and Tom and Sarah married in 1985 to protect their daughter's rights and their rights as her parents. Tom was diagnosed with HIV in 1985. He died of AIDS in 1987 in San Francisco. Before he died, his last words were, "Well, this should be interesting." The city clinic where Tom worked in the 1980s was renamed the Tom Waddell Health Center, and in 2014, the San Francisco street housing the health center was renamed Dr. Tom Waddell Place. Also in 2014, Tom was one of the inaugural honorees of the Rainbow Honor Walk. The Rainbow Honor Walk is an educational memorial in San Francisco's Castro neighborhood that features LGBTQ people who have made an impact on society. Glenn Burke was born on November 16, 1952 in Oakland, California. He was a talented high school basketball star able to dunk a basketball with both hands, an unusual accomplishment for someone under 6 feet tall. He was awarded a scholarship to the University of Denver in 1970, but he returned home to Oakland after just a few months. He enrolled in Merritt College, a community college in Oakland, where he played on the baseball team. The Los Angeles Dodgers recruited him for their minor league team in 1971. He was described by his coaches as the next Willie Mays. He started playing for the Dodgers in 1976. Glenn's career with the Dodgers was difficult for him. His teammates didn't care that he was gay and he was very popular, but management encouraged him to get married, which he refused to do, even though he was offered $75,000 for an elaborate honeymoon. Eventually, he was traded to the Oakland Athletics in 1978. He received very little playing time and was shunned by several of his teammates. He suffered a knee injury before the 1980 season began, and he was released from his contract. Glenn was the first Major League Baseball player to come out as gay. He also, along with Dodgers baseball player Dusty Baker, invented the high-five hand gesture during the 1977 season after Baker had hit his 30th home run of the season. Glenn competed in the gay games and in amateur competitions. Unfortunately, he slid into drug addiction. He became homeless and lived on the streets of San Francisco. He contracted HIV, and when his disease became public knowledge in 1994, the Oakland Athletics organization assisted him financially. Glenn died on May 30th, 1995 of AIDS-related complications. Glenn was a multi-talented athlete. He was one of the first inductees in the National Gay and Lesbian Sports Hall of Fame in 2013. In 2015, the Oakland Athletics honored him as part of Athletics Pride Night, and in 2017, the organization renamed their annual Pride Night to Glenn Burke Pride Night. His memory is also kept alive by the Oakland, California LGBTQ Community Center's Glenn Burke Wellness Clinic. Greg Louganis was born on January 29, 1960 in El Cajon, California. His teenage parents put him up for adoption when he was 8 months old. His adoptive parents, Francis and Peter Louganis, encouraged Greg's interest in athletics. He began dance and acrobatic classes at 18 months old, and he was competing in events by the age of 3. He started diving classes at the age of 9 after his family got a swimming pool. In 1978, he began attending the University of Miami, where he majored in drama and diving. He transferred to the University of California at Irvine in 1981, and he graduated with a major in theater and a minor in dance. At the age of 16, Greg placed second in the 10-meter platform event at the 1976 Summer Olympics in Montreal. He was favored to win gold medals in the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow, but the American boycott of the Games prevented his participation. At the World Aquatic Championships in 1982, he was the first diver in a major international event to get a perfect score of 10 from all 7 judges. He won gold medals in both the springboard and 10-meter platform events at the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. At the 1988 Summer Olympics in Seoul, South Korea, Greg hit his head on the springboard during the preliminary competitions. He had a concussion but continued despite his injury. He won the gold medals for both the springboard and 10-meter dives. He is the only male athlete to win gold medals for the springboard and 10-meter dives in consecutive Olympic Games. Greg was diagnosed with HIV 6 months before the Seoul Olympics. When he publicly announced his diagnosis in 1995, he was criticized for not disclosing his status at the time of his head injury at the 1988 Olympics. After he retired from diving, Greg began to compete in dog agility competitions, saying that dogs give him, quote, a sense of security, company, and unconditional love. Greg is a gay rights activist and an HIV awareness advocate. He was one of the first inductees into the National Gay and Lesbian Sports Hall of Fame in 2013. Greg has been called the greatest diver in history. Jason Collins was born on December 2, 1978 in Los Angeles, California. He and his twin brother Jaron graduated from Harvard Westlake School in Los Angeles and won 2 California Interscholastic Federation titles during their school careers. Jason and Jaron attended Stanford University. Jason finished his college basketball career ranked 1st in field goal percentage and 3rd in blocked shots. Jason was recruited by the New Jersey Nets in 2001. He has also played for the Memphis Grizzlies, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Atlanta Hawks, the Boston Celtics, and the Washington Wizards. On April 29, 2013, after the season ended, Jason publicly came out as gay. He was the first active male athlete from a North American professional sports team to do so. Jason was a free agent temporarily, and then he signed with the Nets, who had moved to Brooklyn, New York. On February 23, 2014, he played with the Nets against the Los Angeles Lakers, and became the first openly gay male athlete to play in a North American professional sports league. He chose to wear jersey number 98 in honor of Matthew Shepard, whose 1998 murder led to the passage of the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act. Sales of the jersey in the NBA's online shop benefited the Matthew Shepard Foundation and the Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network. Jason retired from professional basketball in November 2014. He was featured on the cover of Time magazine in 2014 as one of the 100 most influential people in the world. To know more, visit our website, gwinnettpl.org, to check out the following suggested items. A High Five for Glenn Burke by Phil Bildner. The Complete Book of the Olympics by David Walachinsky and Jamie Lukey. Nevertheless, We Persisted. 48 Voices of Defiance, Strength, and Courage, with a foreword by Amy Klobuchar. Queer There and Everywhere, 23 People Who Changed the World, and Rainbow Revolutionaries, 50 LGBTQ+ People Who Made History, both by Sarah Prager. Singled Out, The True Story of Glenn Burke, by Andrew Marinus. Thank you for watching.